I want to show you something. This is me 3 years ago, and this is me now. 40 pounds gone after menopause, not from a crash diet, not from running on a treadmill until my knees gave out, from finally understanding what my body was actually missing. Because here's what nobody tells you. The reason you can't lose that belly fat after menopause probably has nothing to do with willpower or calories. It has everything to do with 3 specific nutrients your body stopped getting enough of, and the cruel joke is that the symptoms of being deficient in all 3 of them look exactly like menopause itself. So most of us never get tested, we just keep blaming the change. Today I'm going to walk you through all 3, not general wellness supplements, 3 specific vitamins that directly target what menopause does to your metabolism. Each one fixes a different piece of the puzzle. Skip one and the other 2 can't do their job properly. And at the end, I'm going to give you a simple week 1 plan. To get started, no overhaul required. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from and what's your biggest struggle. I read every single one. Now let's get into it. Let me ask you something. When did your doctor last check your vitamin D? Not your blood pressure, not your cholesterol, your vitamin D, because mine never did. For almost 2 years, I was dragging myself through my days like I was wading through wet cement. I'd wake up tired, my joints ached for no reason. My mood was unpredictable. One morning I cried because I couldn't find my glasses. My previous doctor shrugged and said, "Welcome to menopause." I accepted that answer for way too long. Then I switched to a new doctor, a woman who actually sat down and listened, and the first thing she ordered was a full nutrient panel. When my results came back, she slid them across the desk and pointed at one number. "Your vitamin D is critically low," she said. I remember thinking, that's it, a vitamin? But what she explained next completely rewired how I understood my own body. Your body doesn't treat vitamin D like a regular vitamin. It behaves more like a hormone. And when that hormone goes missing, it's not just your bones that feel it, your entire metabolic system starts misfiring. Think of vitamin D as the conductor of an orchestra. The musicians don't put their instruments down when the conductor walks off. They just stop playing together. Everything starts going in different directions at once. Here's what that looks like inside you. Your thyroid slows down, your insulin response gets sluggish, and the small amount of estrogen you still have after menopause can't do its job properly, and your body's response to all that hormonal chaos. It stores fat, specifically in your belly, because visceral fat is your body's emergency fuel reserve, and when your hormones are in distress, your body goes into hoarding mode. Now here's the part that made me furious when I learned it. Research on postmenopausal women consistently shows that the majority are walking around with insufficient vitamin D, and most have no idea. A 2023 analysis published in Frontiers in Physiology confirmed that during menopause, women lose the ability to produce vitamin D efficiently in the skin, and their intestinal absorption of it also declines. You could live in a sunny climate and spend time outdoors every single day and still come up desperately short. I was gardening twice a week. I genuinely thought I was covered. I wasn't, and what makes this so tricky is that low vitamin D produces symptoms that are identical to what we chalk up to menopause: exhaustion, mood swings, brain fog, stubborn weight gain around the middle. So millions of women are told that's just menopause when it's actually a fixable deficiency. A meta-analysis from 2023 published in Clinical Therapeutics looked specifically at the effects of vitamin D supplementation in postmenopausal women and found real links between low levels and disrupted glucose metabolism and increased body fat. The research is still evolving. Vitamin D isn't a magic fat loss pill, but the connection to hormonal function and metabolic health in our age group is real and significant. So here's how to actually fix it. First, get tested. Don't guess. Your doctor can check your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level with a simple blood test. You want to be at least at 30 normal, ideally higher. My levels were so low I needed 4,000 IU daily for the first 3 months just to reach normal range. Second, and this is the detail that changes everything, take D3, not D2. D3 is what your body actually recognizes. D2 is the cheaper version that gets thrown into fortified foods, and it barely moves your levels. Third, always take it with food that contains fat. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, meaning if you swallow it with your morning coffee on an empty stomach, you're absorbing a fraction of what you paid for. A piece of avocado toast, a handful of almonds, some olive oil on your eggs, that's all it takes. And one more thing, pair your D3 with vitamin K2. K2 directs the calcium that D3 helps absorb to your bones where it belongs, rather than letting it accumulate in places it shouldn't. Most quality D3 supplements now come combined with K2. That's the form you want. Within about 3 weeks of getting my levels up, the brain fog started lifting. I stopped needing to lie down at 2 in the afternoon, and around week 10, I noticed my clothes fitting differently, not dramatically, but enough to keep going. Now, I want to pause here for just a second because what I just described, that whole hormonal chaos your body goes through when this one nutrient is missing. There's an entire chapter on exactly this in an audiobook I've been recommending called The Menopause Belly Fat Fix. Chapter 1 is all about what menopause actually does to your metabolism, your thyroid, your cortisol, your insulin, and why the strategies that worked at 35 stop working at 52. If you've been feeling like your body is working against you, that chapter will make you feel so much less alone. The link is in the description. Keep watching because we have 2 more vitamins to get through, but if you want the full picture on hormones and metabolism, that's where to go. Okay, so now your hormonal conductor is back on stage with vitamin D, but here's where most women get stuck because there's a bottleneck they don't even know exists. You ready for this one? Your liver. After menopause, your body doesn't just stop producing estrogen, it starts producing different types of estrogen metabolites. Some of those metabolites are problematic if they stick around too long. Your liver's job is to process them and clear them out of your system, but your liver needs a very specific tool to do that job efficiently, and that tool is vitamin B6. I know it sounds boring. B6 sounds like something that belongs on a cereal box, but listen to what happens when it drops low in women our age. I used to think my 3 p.m. crash was just life. Every single day, like clockwork, my brain would go completely offline, and the cravings that came with it weren't gentle, they were loud. Bread, chocolate, cookies. I'd eat 3 and feel disgusting, promise myself tomorrow would be different, then do it all again the next day. I thought I was weak. Turns out my liver was overwhelmed and my brain was running on fumes. Here's the science of what was happening. When B6 levels drop, those estrogen byproducts pile up in your bloodstream and send a very specific signal to your fat cells. Expand, particularly the fat cells in your midsection. It's not random, it's targeted. Your belly grows because your liver can't keep up with the cleanup. But B6 isn't only an estrogen processing tool. It's also the raw material your brain uses to manufacture serotonin and dopamine, the chemicals that make you feel satisfied after a meal and calm after a stressful moment. Research published in a 2024 study in Medical Science Monitor on peri- and postmenopausal women found significant connections between B vitamin status and both mood and quality of life scores. When those levels drop, your brain goes looking for the fastest route to a dopamine hit it can find, and the fastest route it knows is sugar. That's not a willpower problem, that's biology. There's another layer to this that most people completely miss after menopause. Hanging on to muscle is a metabolic survival skill. Muscle is what keeps your calorie burn elevated even when you're sitting still, but your body actually needs B6 to properly convert the protein you eat into muscle tissue. Without enough of it, that grilled chicken you had for dinner, your body can't fully utilize it. The protein passes through without doing its job. You eat well and you still lose ground. And carbohydrates? They depend on B6 too. This vitamin is a cofactor for the enzymes that convert stored carbs into usable cellular energy. Without it, those carbs don't get burned, they get stored, and you already know where they get stored. The frustrating thing is that even if you eat well, getting enough B6 from food after 50 is genuinely difficult. Heat destroys a significant portion of B6 in anything you cook. Add in the slower absorption and reduced stomach acid that come with age, and you are fighting uphill just to maintain basic levels. If you decide to supplement, and I think most women over 50 should at least consider it, there's one critical detail. Most budget supplements use a form called pyridoxine hydrochloride. Your liver has to convert that into the active form before your body can use it. But remember, your liver is already running overtime processing hormonal changes, so you're adding to its workload. Instead, look for pyridoxal 5-phosphate on the label. That's the bioactive form your body can use immediately, no conversion needed. I take 25 to 30 milligrams with breakfast. Always with food, because B6 on an empty stomach can cause nausea, and take it in the morning. It gives you a real energy lift, which is great at 7 a.m. and deeply unhelpful at 10 p.m. Within 2 weeks, my afternoon crashes stopped. The constant cookie reach at 3 p.m. faded. I actually felt full after meals for the first time in years. My liver was finally catching up. What I just described, the cravings, the brain chemistry piece, the way your body processes estrogen and stores belly fat, there's a whole nutrition chapter in the Menopause Belly Fat Fix audiobook that maps this out beautifully. It's called the Anti-Belly Fat Nutrition Code, and it explains exactly which foods support your liver, stabilize your blood sugar, and work with your shifting hormones instead of against them. If you want to know what to put on your plate alongside these vitamins, Chapter 2 is your answer. Link is below. Let's keep going though, because the third vitamin is the one that surprised me most. Alright, vitamin D is your conductor, B6 is your cleanup crew. Now let's talk about your ignition switch. Because you can have every system in order, and your body still won't burn fat if your cells don't have the energy to actually do the work. It's like having a fully stocked kitchen but no electricity to turn on the stove. That missing spark for a huge number of women over 50 is vitamin B12. I want you to think about how you feel when you wake up on a regular Tuesday. Do you feel rested? Or do you feel like you somehow slept 8 hours and woke up more tired than before you closed your eyes? Because that was my reality for a long time. I'd hit snooze 3-4 times. I'd make coffee and immediately start calculating when I could justify going back to bed. My husband thought I needed iron. My doctor said it was menopause. Nobody checked B12 for years. Here's why this happens. After 50, your stomach starts producing less intrinsic factor, a protein that's essential for absorbing B12 from food. It sounds minor, it's not. You could eat the most B12-dense foods on earth, sardines, liver, eggs, every single morning and still become deficient because your gut can no longer extract it the way it used to. A 2025 study published in a peer-reviewed journal on postmenopausal women found B12 deficiency rates ranging from 5% to over 50%. Across different regions, a shockingly wide range that reflects just how much diet, gut health, and age all interact. So what does B12 actually do for your metabolism? Your cells use it to convert stored fat into usable energy. Without it, the fat just sits there. Your body has fuel in the tank but no way to ignite it. That's why you can eat less, exercise more, do everything right and still see zero movement on the scale. The machinery is there, the match just won't light. There's also a critical muscle connection. Vitamin B12 plays a key role in the health of the nerves that signal your muscles to fire. After menopause, with estrogen already declining, low B12 compounds that nerve signal problem. The result is accelerated muscle loss, and less muscle means a slower metabolism, more fat storage, and a loop that feeds itself. On top of that, your adrenal glands need B12 to regulate your cortisol response. Cortisol is the stress hormone that signals your body to hold on to belly fat. Menopause already cranks cortisol higher. When B12 is low and your adrenals can't properly regulate that response, the cortisol stays elevated longer than it should. More cortisol, more belly fat, a cycle that just keeps spinning. And then there's the oxygen piece, which ties everything together. B12 is what your body uses to build healthy red blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen to your tissues. Oxygen is the literal fuel your body uses to burn fat. When B12 is low, you make fewer red blood cells, less oxygen reaches your tissues, and your body physically cannot run the fat-burning process efficiently. You feel it as heaviness, as workouts that seem impossibly hard, as that relentless dragging feeling that doesn't improve. No matter how much sleep you get, that's not aging, that's a deficiency. Now, absorption is everything with B12. Standard pills have to pass through your digestive system, which, as we just talked about, is already working against us. Sublingual tablets are significantly better. They dissolve under your tongue and go directly into your bloodstream, bypassing digestion entirely. If you're seriously deficient, injections are the most effective route and worth a conversation with your doctor. When you're reading labels, you want methylcobalamin or adenosicobalamin. Those are the active forms your body uses immediately. The synthetic version, cyanocobalamin, is cheaper and requires extra processing that becomes less efficient as we age. I started with sublingual methylcobalamin. Within 10 days, something shifted. I stopped lying in bed dreading getting up. By week 3. I had real energy at 4 in the afternoon. Not coffee energy, actual clean, sustained energy that let me think clearly and move through my day without the fog. So here's your complete starting plan. Vitamin D3, get your levels tested first, then supplement with 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily with a fat-containing meal. Pair it with K2. If your levels are very low, your doctor may recommend more initially. Vitamin B6 as pyridoxal 5-phosphate 25 to 30 milligrams with breakfast. Morning only, with food. Vitamin B12 as methylcobalamin sublingual form, 500 to 1,000 micrograms daily. The research on postmenopausal women suggests higher doses may be needed if you've been deficient for a while. And here's what I want you to add alongside all 3. Squats. I know, stay with me. After menopause, you lose muscle faster than at any other point in your life, and your legs, glutes, and thighs are your body's biggest metabolic furnace. When they shrink, your metabolism shrinks with them. One movement done consistently that works all 3 groups at once. The squat. Start with chair squats if you need to, literally just standing up from a chair and sitting back down slowly 10 times. That's a workout. That's your starting point. Do 5 minutes a day. Your body will respond. This isn't about perfection. It's about giving your body the 3 things it stopped getting enough of, and 1 physical signal that says it's safe to let go of the fat. I spent years blaming myself for something that was never my fault. And if this clicked for you today, if you're thinking, I need a real plan, not just the vitamins, I want you to check out the Menopause Belly Fat Fix. It's an audiobook, and it takes everything we talked about today and builds a full 7-day hormone reboot around it. The meal plans, the mindset work, the movement designed specifically for women our age, working with our hormones, not against them. It even has a printable tracker so you can actually see your progress day by day. The link is in the description. You don't have to figure this out alone anymore. Start with one thing this week. Get your vitamin D checked. Do 10 chair squats in the morning, and know that your body isn't broken. It's been waiting for the right tools. I'll see you in the next one.